everything was pretty normal, or at least as normal as it gets for me, for about 3 weeks. Then, it all started to get serious right after I busted my third movie this year.
What are you looking for, sir?
I remember seeing a passage in journal number 3 stating that if a buster failed to fulfill a busting request, the penalty would be severe. I just can't find the passage.
Well, it's time to bust Robin Hood.
Robin Hood. I almost want to bust it with a spoon.
Why a spoon, sir?
Because it's dull and would hurt more. Greetings, fanboys and fangirls. I'm Erod and I'm the Blockbuster Buster. Robin Hood is one of the most adapted works of fiction in the history of filmmaking. From the classic charm of Errol Flynn, to the magic of Disney, to the hilarity of Mel Brooks, the big budget spectacle of Kevin Costner, to the Russell Crowe one we never talk about. Robin Hood is a beloved classic hero whose story will be retold until the end of time. A tale of an English lord who loses everything and becomes an outlaw to help his people and fight the oppressive ruling class that has taken over his kingdom. Seems simple enough, right? How could anyone fuck that up? Well, we're about to find out. So our movie begins with Summit, my old nemesis. Our movie actually begins, appropriately enough, with a copy of the Robin Hood book, blatantly implying that this film will be faithful to the source material.
He stole from the rich and gave to the poor. It became a bedtime story. But listen, forget history. Forget what you've seen before. Forget what you think you know. This is no bedtime story.
Then why the fuck did you show us the book? And thus we meet our Robin Hood, played by Kingsman's Taron Egerton, as he meets and begins his romance with his famous love interest, Maid Marian. Yup, Robin has it all. Riches, good looks, and a beautiful woman. What could possibly go wrong?
Finally, we're together. I'm sorry, Mabel, but I have to go fight. In the war! Ah!
So yeah, Robin gets drafted to fight for Queen and Country in the Middle East. Thankfully, as the book suggests, he is the best archer in his unit. Yup, no one's better with a bow and arrow than Robin Hood. Except for that guy. Whoa! Okay, I'll admit it. That was awesome, but a little far-fetched. I mean, nobody can shoot arrows like that. What? A YouTube video you just sent me? Alright, I'll check it out. There's no way he's gonna make that shot. Wow. So you're telling me that the stylized archery in this movie is actually the most realistic part? Now that is legit ironic. Not bullshit ironic like in that Alanis Morissette song. So Robin, being the brave lad that he is, takes on the incredible Blue Archer, played by Jamie Foxx, on his own. Yeah, he doesn't do so well. Oh!
Not again.
So Robin takes the one-handed Blue Archer back to base camp, where he is shocked to discover that the king has ordered them to kill all of their prisoners. Robin protests, but his plight goes unheard, and to make matters worse, the Blue Archer's son is next on the chopping block. Robin bravely tries to save the young man, but fails and gets shot in the stomach for his troubles. Okay, I'll admit it. This scene is actually really good. Jamie Foxx and Taron Egerton did a fantastic job portraying the drama and intensity of the moment. as one desperately tries to save his progeny while the other can't bear to watch yet another injustice transpire in this senseless war. Their performances are so captivating that it is undeniably heartbreaking when they both fail. In fact, this scene is so effective that I'm a little bummed out. Man, gonna be hard to cheer myself up to finish this review. What is the bright side of this? He got shot in the stomach, which means he's been wounded in combat, which means he'll be sent back home, where all of his friends will be waiting to see him.
But your name was read out from the list of fallen soldiers. What? 2 years ago. We were told you were dead.
Oh, damn. So everybody thought you were dead, so they all moved on and nobody was expecting you. But hey, at least you're still rich. Oh man, the Sheriff of Nottingham seized all of his property and only left him the raided and unkempt remains of his castle. But hey, you still have sexy-ass Maid Marian to keep you company. She got remarried. To Will Scarlet, nonetheless. Yeah, it sucks to be you. But before Robin can climb into a bottle and drink away the rest of his existence, he's given a new purpose by an old acquaintance. You know what? I'm sick of calling Jamie Foxx's character the Blue Archer. What is his actual name?
Yahya Ibn Umar.
Can you just write it down phonetically? Does anybody have a slate and a piece of chalk? Anybody? Is anybody literate in this century?
In your language is John.
He's supposed to be Little John? Jamie Foxx can't play Little John. He's not tall enough to play the character. I mean, am I right?
Oh, they call me Little John. Yeah, but don't let my name fool you. In real life, I'm very big.
I'll take your word for it.
Suffice it to say, John wants to end the horrible war that took his hand and his son, and he feels Robin is the key to do it, as he is a trained soldier, and this will allow him to attack and steal from the men who profit from the war. And he is also of noble blood, which will allow him to infiltrate their inner circle, so he can spy on these men and know their sinister plans ahead of time. A gratuitous training montage ensues.
Right. Left. To the right.
There's something familiar about this.
Faster. Stronger.
I feel like I've seen this before. Seen W.
Only this time. Try the other side. It will save you a second on the reload.
Really? It was Little John who taught Robin Hood how to use a bow?
Robin of Locksley. I taught him how to use a bow.
I knew Vandal Savage was full of shit. John and Robin's first target on their war against war is of course the Sheriff of Nottingham.
Evil is his one and only name.
People!
Ben Mendelsohn? Wait, first Taron Egerton, then Jamie Foxx, and now Ben Mendelsohn? Man, this cast is way too good for this movie. With their training complete and their first target chosen, it's time for these merry men to start stealing from the rich and giving to the poor.
Percival Prentice, you have failed this kingdom.
WTF, mofo, a Robin Hood movie blatantly, shamelessly, and pathetically ripping off Daredevil. And nothing else. So John and Robin's war on war escalates as they humiliate the sheriff and gain the favor of the people. Things get so out of control that the Cardinal himself decides to travel from Rome to Nottingham to see what the hell is going on. F. Murray Abraham? Really? F. Murray Abraham? Okay, that's way too many respected actors in this movie. Who produced this? Leonardo DiCaprio? Oscar-winning, genre movie-avoiding Leonardo DiCaprio. I got nothing. So Robin continues his dual life as a billionaire playboy by day and a badass vigilante by night. You know, like that famous DC character. You know the one. The one with the Batman, that one. They should be embarrassed. Embarrassed, I tell ya! And thus, through Robin's spying, he discovers that the sheriff and cardinal intend to use the money that they've taken from the people and give it to Britain's enemies during the war. So they will start to overtake England, and eventually the king, out of desperation, will give the church more control. And eventually, the cardinal will be able to take over.
Maniacal laugh. Maniacal laugh. Maniacal laugh. Maniacal laugh.
But that's not where the evil schemes end, as the sheriff and the cardinal set a trap for the Hood by putting Maid Marian in danger. And how exactly did they know that their mysterious masked vigilante felt affection for this random peasant woman? Well, obviously they read the book that some negligent jerk left out on the table at the beginning of the movie. Duh! So our heroes grab Marian and they try to get away. Wait, this sequence, with its sweeping camera moves, dynamic action, and eclectic stunts, they're not ripping off Daredevil or Batman. They're ripping off that badass hooded vigilante from that amazing live-action TV series. You know, The Cape! How dare you plagiarize the beloved cult classic! The rescue is successful, but unfortunately John has to sacrifice himself so Robin and Marian can get away.
Bogus.
Knowing that the sheriff will have the considerable aid of the cardinal to transport the money that will prolong the war and ensure his rule, Robin reveals his identity to the people of Nottingham and recruits them as his merry men.
I protest. I am not a merry man.
So our heroes spring the trap on the armored transport. An exploding arrow stopped ripping off Hawkeye and no one else. So everything's going according to plan until... Whoa! Well, that was an unexpected twist. I hope nothing stupid or melodramatic happens to ruin it.
What you say? That you only meant well, cause you did. What you say? That it's all for the...
While our heroes did manage to stop the transport, they start to lose ground during the battle. So in order to save his people from being massacred by the sheriff's men, Robin surrenders and is taken into custody, where he will be executed by the sheriff himself.
You boss! I'm the sheriff of Nottingham!
Not anymore.
Well, you know what they say. No news is good news.
With the sheriff dead and the war funds cut off, Robin and crew are now enemies of the church, so they must retreat to Sherwood Forest, where they will live out the rest of their days as outlaws. But it seems like the Cardinal has already chosen a new sheriff to rule over Nottingham. What a twist! The new sheriff is Will Scarlet, and now we know where he got his name. You see, the fire burnt half his face, and now that half is red. Get it? Red? Scarlet? This movie's a hooded hoodlum of horrific horrors. It's fun, but dumb as fuck. The class, charm, and social commentary of the book is completely absent. And what we're left with is a pseudo Michael Bay movie that is all style and no substance. Saved from being unwatchable by production value and actors that it definitely doesn't deserve. There is a chance that if you're a huge Taron Egerton and Jamie Foxx fan, you might enjoy it, but otherwise I would say treat it like the Middle Ages and avoid it like the plague. And do I even need to point out how sad it is that this film found the need to rip off the superhero genre? Yeah, you know something is successful when pale imitators start to pop up everywhere. And this copycat is as pale as they come. I mean, a masked hooded vigilante with a bow and arrow? Who are they kidding? But what's really sad about this movie is... hate it when this happens. on to option B.
Robin Hood, you have failed this fandom.
Busted. I knew the penalty for failing to fulfill a busting request would be severe, but a made-for-TV movie? This is just cruel and unusual punishment. Oh, for Godzilla's sake, what else could possibly go wrong? No. I have a bad feeling about this. Oh no.